Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about social media fingerprinting, MantisTek keyboard keylogger, and a judge has blocked the Ring doorbell from being sold. That and much more today. Thank you again for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining my little news broadcast here, talking about the news that I don't think is being talked about enough. First news article brought to you by Robin Linus at githubio.com. He has figured out, and let's go ahead and just take a look at the page, that your social media is leaking much more than you think it is. Currently, I'm logged into Amazon in the background, and as you can see, it's letting you know that you're logged into Amazon. All these other places, Pinterest, YouTube, Gmail, Blogger, Tumblr, etc., also leak that information. So let me go ahead and read. Without your consent, most major web platforms leak whether you are logged in or not. This allows a website to detect on which platforms you are currently signed in. There are a lot of platforms with specific demographics an attacker could reason about your personality and use. So this is a good proof of concept page, and the link of it is in the show notes. But again, whenever you are logged into a website, uh, the web browser and other services are allowed to ask and freely give that type of information. There haven't been any direct hacks or breaks or leaks per se from this, but again, knowing what type of social media someone is logged into uh, opens up all the different vectors or methods of attack that just make it much easier. And again, this is information you don't want to be giving away. So take a look. Go to the link down in the show notes. Again, it is Robin Linus, linus.github.io/social media hyphen leak. And see what your web browser reports about you. You'd be surprised to find out, as was I. Moving on to MantisTek. There's a definitely some news that I saw going around that I'm not hearing in other places, and the update is probably why. But MantisTek, uh, they produced keyboards, and it was found that there was possibly a keylogger attached to these keyboards. We're actually reading the updated article that was updated yesterday in the morning. So it seems like people were thinking that the keylogger was logging information about every single keystroke, what a normal keylogger would do. However, upon closer inspections, it seems that the software was actually just sending how many times a particular key was pressed, and this was getting sent to Alibaba. And Alibaba, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is a large reseller, very similar to someone like Amazon here in the United States. Uh, Interesting, though, how I know there have been other hacks that I've seen using keyboards, because keyboards are one of those devices that, when plugged in directly to a computer usually will give them full rights, and that's because we don't expect keyboards to do anything like write to the hard drive or access the internet, but they do, being an input device, require some pretty low connectivity between your hardware. So practice has been that most keyboards have full access to a computer system. And of course, people have taken advantage of that. I've seen different USB, different edited USB keys that are specifically made to mimic that they are a keyboard, and you get much more privileges as opposed to being a USB key. So again, just making you aware these things exist. From the looks of it and from what people are now reporting, MantisTek wasn't doing anything uh, purposely or on purpose. They wanted to actually see how their keyboards were doing out in the field by the looks of things, just by reporting how many times particular keys were pressed. Again, wanting to manufacture a better product would be my guess. Can this information be used for nefarious reasons? Who knows? Just making you aware of it. This article comes to us from Tom's Hardware. Thank you again for the report. Let's take a look at our next article. Our next article comes to us from Krebs on security. Equifax has decided to reopen a salary lookup service that they provided once in the past. Now, the unfortunate thing about the service is that it requires very little information to get this set up. Namely, all it needs is a social security number and some type of information about what employment time range you're looking for. Unfortunately, social security card or your social security number is something that is not as secure as many people think it is. Um, so be aware that Equifax, along with other accidents that have been produced by it and other large conglomerates such as them relating to the financial industry, um, in trying to make a useful thing that I'm assuming it's being asked by its customers for, so they have produced this and put it online, have bypassed security in instead going for a use of ease for its customers, and unfortunately that use of ease and convenience for customers has created uh, a pretty big security flaw. Now, hopefully this will be resolved in the near future with asking for other information other than just a social security number and a date range. But as for now, should you happen to be in possession of a social security number and a date range, you can find out and validate someone's salary from that date range. Again, just making you aware of what is out there in the scary, scary world of the internet and unfortunate lack of security. Next, and an interesting one, an interesting article from The Verge. A judge has blocked the Ring from selling its security system pending outcome of the lawsuit. The Ring is, many of you may or may not be familiar with, what kind of made it big with their doorbell system, which is a doorbell that is Wi-Fi controlled. That when anyone pushes the doorbell, it can the video and audio can be sent to a device like your phone. So even if you're not home, you can still answer the door. There are many other sensors on the Ring, so you can actually detect when people are even just near your door, like someone is passing by your driveway or near your front door. Now, it seems that ADT, which is a large security company, filed a lawsuit against the Ring. It seems that the Ring had purchased a company recently called Zonoff, and the Ring assumed, and I'm sure not assumed, I'm sure there were plenty of paperwork to go along with this, that several software patents came along with this purchase. ADT is suing the Ring as it believes that some of the software that were included in this deal actually belonged to ADT and not Zonoff, and by it not belonging to Zonoff, it wouldn't belong to the Ring. So currently a judge has placed an injunction on ADT, and they are not allowed to sell their Ring security system until the injunction has been solved. So we are looking forward to news on how this plays out, as I believe the Ring is a good, reputable company and doing everything they can to make Internet of Things devices in a mature and responsible manner. So we hope that this plays out correctly, and of course we'll see how that goes here in the near future. Lastly, coming to us from the Hacker News, fake WhatsApp was placed on Google Play Store and downloaded by over 1 million Android users. Now, when looking at the article, this is a screen capture of what the fake WhatsApp looked like. And it's a very good fake, and that's because pretty much everything is identical to the real WhatsApp. The only thing that you can't see is a Unicode underscore character at the end of WhatsApp Inc. So it looks like the submission for the name wasn't checking for Unicode characters, and this person figured it out and was able to add a Unicode space at the end, which allowed them to mimic very much a WhatsApp application. I mean, looking at it, you wouldn't be able to tell it apart visually. Update to WhatsApp Messenger, WhatsApp by WhatsApp Inc. looks perfectly good to me. And of course, you would have been downloading. Fortunately, what it ended up you would download was just a bunch of advertisements. So very quickly, whoever downloaded this realized that it wasn't the correct WhatsApp. This, of course, could have been used for other more nefarious means. So it looks like Google Play will have to be making sure that it checks for Unicode on its submission from now on. Before we leave, I wanted to go to Security Wizards and their radar. Security Wizards at securitywizardry.com, radar.html, shows an excellent overview of just everything that is going on with security today. I'll let you take a look at it for a while as I get mine up and running here. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on in today. So, some of the more interesting things, some tools that have been updated as of late October. Looks like Nmap was updated on October 30th, as well as Nessus on the 26th. So if you're running Nmap or Nessus, you may be interested in updating those two. Some of the latest updates for intrusion detection system signatures include Cisco IPS, Cisco SourceFire, and Juniper, as they were all updated yesterday. And just wanted to make you aware of securitywizardry.com's radar. It's a very excellent tool. Okay, wanted to thank you guys for watching our show. We appreciate it. As always, if you if you have the ability to, go over to EFF.org. They are the Electronic Frontier Foundation. They do great things in helping the internet and fighting for what is right and should be right to keep the internet free and open to all. So if you have the means to do so, please go head over to EFF.org, and anything you can donate to them is much appreciated. Thank you for watching our show. Until next time, have a good day.